stand down or no?
Yeah, that's fine. Just square your hands when you come in, please. Thanks. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
All right. What's that? Yeah. One more thing.
I mean, are we, because like, the kids do a good one. Does that the same thing? I thought they did.
I didn't hear anything.
You usually
I thought Christie was being like hyperbolic or just, loose with language when he said about your wife.
Well, you just said, oh, we're just in film class just now. So I have a quick question for you. Ed Puzzle, want to figure out how to get on class? Okay. Okay, I'll do it. Ed Puzzle, did you assign in Ed Puzzle or just copy the link and slide it over yourself?
So I just did it that way, right? You still have to assign it to the class, that's what I figured out.
Okay, but you're gonna assign it to multiple classes, right? Okay, because what I did is I think I signed it to class and then I took the link and it wouldn't work for the kids. I had to reassign it to like their class,
Yeah, I didn't assign it. I put the link in the classroom. The kids all completed it, and it showed me that they completed it, but I couldn't access it in that puzzle to look at. I can't even see their answers. They didn't assign it. Yeah, I didn't really care. Every only one.
Thanks. Yeah, it's just, I'm not sure, like, I just need to, I guess I need to watch a video, I just walking through, should you start in Google Classroom, or should you start in Ed Puzzle?
I didn't want it to.
No, I want control over, like, yeah, because there's two things, there's a sign, and then there's post to Google Classroom. Okay, but if you sign it, it opens it up in Ed Puzzle for them. Good morning, how are you? Good. Hello, welcome, thanks for coming, everybody. Here we are in real school, real American school, right here. Real American school, it is real American school, let's see. See if I can figure out who you guys are, let's see. Okay. You're Anthony, right?
Yeah.
I got it. And you're Jing? Cool. And you're Mariah? I know that. Okay, look at that. I'm learning everybody slowly. All right. Oh, I've got viewers at home. This is so exciting. Okay. Hello. Welcome. Do your hands, please. Thank you so much. And you are Neil.
Yes.
All right.
How
Welcome.
are you doing today?
I'm living the dream, thanks. Thanks for asking. Mr. Miller already came. How is this a dream? I don't know. No, I'm living the dream.
You're living the dream?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, gonna say what kind of dream it is. Let's see if I can ever wake up. It's Friday, isn't it? Yeah. So there's that. Okay. And thank you, Neil, yesterday for telling me about the videos not working. I haven't quite figured it out. I guess if, like in this program, if I have it set up for a class and I have to, each class has its own like unique link, I guess. I don't know. Don't know. It's a lot of things, a lot of programs that claim they talk to each other, and they kind of do. They kind of do. Hi, would you guys do your hands, please, on your way in?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
No worries. No worries. Welcome. Thanks for
Gotta
coming.
have cognac.
Oh, good.
I want to do a little bit since it was just a workshop and I.
Oh, you don't belong in here. What's up?
Yeah, no,
I was gonna say, I was thinking maybe you and I could talk like would Monday work, and then that can just be like last like minute adjustment type things, like at the very end once I get it all written.
Whatever.
And then
That works for me.
okay,
Yeah.
I can email you about time. I was just
Yeah, and then what we can do is we can just, there's this little thing right here on
because it's due Tuesday for my class, right? Or
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It's whatever day you're in person, yeah.
Okay.
So then all we'll do is we'll each hit this little button and we'll pop on like Monday afternoon.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Sweet.
Rockstar, thank you.
It's literally impossible.
Okay. Bye, Dad.
All right.
Have a good day.
Bye, thank you. How you doing? All right? You're well hydrated?
I just had building new trades, and
Oh, geez.
we were on the roof of
Oh, and the roof that went out there?
that house.
Nice.
out there.
It's gonna start making progress again, maybe?
Yeah.
That's all right.
We had to tear out everything.
Cool. And you're Devin, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, no, well, at least you're outside. That's not bad.
Way hot, especially on the roof, 'cause I got all the like sun. So I was like,
Oh, yeah, it says, what does it say here? Oh, it doesn't, my link is not good.
hot outside.
Too hot. Too hot to
Yeah,
drive,
it
huh?
could just come off, like, straight back on the I'm just saying.
Well, I think, oh, it's only 70. That's not bad. Hello.
Are we, working on our assistant?
Yes, you're gonna get a lot of workshop time in here. So, all right.
You know, when you're done talking or whatever, guys should run and fill this up again.
Yeah, why don't you go now? That would be awesome. And are you in the back? Are you Cody? Or who are you in the back?
Me,
Yeah.
Josh.
Oh, you're Josh. Oh, that's right. Duh. I was looking in the wrong class or long one.
I need to talk to you. about
Okay.
something.
Okay. Right now?
No, it
Okay.
can wait.
All right. Why don't we get rolling and then we'll go from there. If you're on TV, welcome. Thanks for coming. Thanks for making English part of your day. My name is Mr. Friesen. I'll be your teacher today. And you're Cody, right?
Yeah.
Hand sanitize, please. Show up on time. All right. My name is Mr. Friesen. I've got a poem to start things off, okay? This one actually is a visual poem. So I'm actually going to turn off part of the lights. Well, first off, it's by Sasha Pimentel. And I hope you can see it at home, but you guys actually have the slideshow at home, so this works pretty well. The poem is called The Kiss, and it's based on a painting by Gustav Klimt called The Kiss, which he painted way back in 1907, okay? So Sasha Pimentel did this poem. And at the end of the poem, you just go, Okay. The Kiss. Hey, can you do a hand sanitizer when you come in? Show up on time, please. Both of those things are awesome. All right, here we go. The Kiss. Do you really think if you bend me, I will love you? You crack my chin up, your hands, brown pigeon, scheming reunion. At my cheek and temple, your jaw cragged at the end of your thin neck of longing. I claw into you as the only tree here, your swing. I'm mad for gravity, though I'm bound diagonally to you. Let me push from your trunk towards the edge of my freedom, and my freedom. Leave me to wither, while some moss weeps in the corners, our halo liquid as yolk, waving from our body's heat, our divinity melting. My dress blossoms loudly. You are still wrestling me closer. If only I could release you to my mouth just this once, and you would leave me. But the shadows of your robe are so haphazard. I know you will try to smother me again. The poppies scratch. My feet reach beyond spring. And you say, and then here's the poem that motivated that poem, or here's the painting that motivated that poem. So 110 years or 112 years after Gustav painted that, Sasha chose to write that. And now try to find the details in the poem, in the painting. Do you really think if you bend me, I will love you? You crack my chin up. Your hands, brown pigeons, scheming reunion at my cheek and temple. Your jaw cragged at the end of your thin neck of longing, or your thick neck of longing. I claw into you as the only tree here. Your swing, I'm mad for gravity, though I'm bound diagonally to you. Let me push from your trunk towards the edge and my freedom. Leave me to wither while moss weeps in the corners. Our halo liquid is yolk, waving from our body's heat. Our divinity melting. My dress blossoms loudly. you are still wrestling me closer. If only I could release you, release to you my mouth just this once, and you would leave me. But the shadows of your robe are so haphazard. I know you will try to smother me again. The poppies scratch. My feet reach beyond spring. And you guys say. So what we're going to do, you cats, is we're going to be doing, starting next week, this kind of art unit, and we're going to be blending it with poetry. And so we're going to do the both, because both art and poetry are these kind of self-contained forms that we're going to be able to look at together. So we're going to do that next week. Here's the plan for today. Those of you at home, welcome. Do not forget to check in. And all y'all who are here, check in as well, all right? I know you're here. I marked it down. Ayana, are you not here, right? No, and then I don't believe Nevea is here either. Okay. But if you're either a B person, like Alyssa, Savannah, Abigail, Ben, Evan, Jameson, or if you're a purely if you're an A person, you're going to want to check in. So what to do if you're online? If you are online, your job is to do what you guys did yesterday. And what to do if you're in here? Well, in here, you're going to do what the people who are online did yesterday. So that's what we're going to do. So here's the plan, friends. If you are at home and you didn't do this yesterday, right? Your job is to go on Google Classroom. And you're going to find a series of 5 Ed Puzzle videos from a series curated by Smart History. And the videos are our first step to looking at art and considering why art matters. So you're going to go through the 5 videos. You're going to answer the embedded questions. They're due by the end of the class period today. This is not to be homework. It's due by 11:41 today. But because your homework is to have your personal statement essay ready to go the next time we meet, which is going to be, what is it going to be? Well, I don't know. For some of you, it's a week from 2 days ago. And for you guys here, it's a week from yesterday. Let me know in Google Classroom if you need help. So like yesterday, if I did those yesterday, what do I do today? Well, yesterday, Jameson, you're in this class today. Yeah, see, Jameson, you're in this class today. So you're going to do the in-person work today, Jameson, even though you're on a machine. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, and then you'll return to class at the end to check out. Okay, so if you're an A person, this is what you do. If you're a B person, you follow along. And you need to let me know on GroupMe or in the chat on YouTube or on Google Classroom if you can't get into those Ed Puzzle videos, okay? All right, bye people who are A people who did the workshop yesterday. All right, so here's what we're going to do. If you're in the room today, or if you're Alyssa, Savannah, Abigail, Benjamin, Evan, or Jameson, your job is to take a look at your personal statement essay today. And that's all we're going to do today. So we're going to take a look at your personal essay. We're going to look at where it's at and talk about improving it. So I'm going to show you the assignment guidelines, and we're going to talk about a little bit of workshopping information. Going to give you the rubric that I talked about on the video last week. I'm going to give you a copy of that. We're going to look at an essay that went through the revision process that was okay and got better. We're going to look at 2 examples of essays that desperately need revision, and we're going to try to give those people advice. And then ultimately, I'm just going to give you a link to even more strong examples that you can look at and say, oh, because a lot of people, you perhaps can find things on there that you could borrow from for your own essay. So, okay, in the room, we good? Okay, if you're at home or online and you have any questions, let me know. I have the GroupMe open right now, and it will respond to you. And I can also see comments if you post them on Google Classroom, I believe. Let me see. I don't know if that's true. Google Classroom. There we go. Is this today's check-in question? The flat tire one?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so here we go. For you guys, here's a piece of paper. The first thing we're going to do, and you guys in the room, if you want to, all of these things, they're all links in here. And some of these things have like links within them, but I'm actually giving you a physical copy because I believe in that. Now, normally, what I do when I assign work in school is at the beginning of a unit, I'll say, okay, we're going to read Handmaid's Tale, okay? And so as we read Handmaid's Tale, at the beginning of the end, I'm like, you guys have to write an essay on Handmaid's Tale. So I would hand you a piece of paper and say, here's the essay assignment. Well, what I did with us for the personal statement essay is I actually had you write it without the assignment. We did some in-person, pre-reading and pre-writing, and I had you guys, I gave you the prompts and all that, but I didn't actually give you the assignment. My guess is nothing on this piece of paper is going to be a surprise because all this is kind of defining some things. If you have any questions on this piece of paper, let me know. So if you're at home, you want to click on that link so that you see something that looks like this, except for it's not pink. You guys can read, but I just want to make sure we're clear about the assignment guidelines, okay? So it says definition and purpose. The purpose of narrative writing is to tell a story. However, the story you tell in this essay is about you. It's written as a response to a specific prompt, and you'll need to select the prompt with thought, design your response with care, and craft it with originality. So your personal essay must be a story of some sort. It must tell a tale in which you are the main character. Okay? You need to reveal your vulnerability, values, and superpower. Let's clarify those things. Vulnerability. All that means is your willingness to tell a personal story. Your willingness to say things that are unique to you. You know, I had a really rough time when I transferred schools. That's not unique to you. That happens to thousands of people. Okay, so what is your story that makes your story yours? Okay, that's where you want to drop in specific details, qualities. Values. Values are the underlying things. You're not just telling a story, you're also saying what the story reveals about your belief system and your essence, your character. And then finally, a superpower. And that was the last step in the assignment or the work we did on the with the gentleman on the video, where he walked you through. Here was a moment that I had an effect of that kind of confrontation or a challenging time in my life, and then that caused me to feel things because I had certain needs, and then I did something about it. Well, what you did or do, that's your superpower. Bottom line is, it's what you possess that makes you you and unique. Your superpower could literally be like, I am incredibly quick on the athletic field, and that's my superpower. That's the thing I possess that makes me special, unique, interesting. Or it could be, I have the ability to listen before I interject my opinion. And that ability to listen actually feels like my superpower. It's what gives me, it's something I learned, and it's something I possess that gives me my strength. So the superpower is something about you that you are, that makes you you. So those things will come out. You don't list them, obviously, but they come out. So you need to choose one of two things, which are the same thing. One is you craft a personal statement essay, or two is you craft a college application essay. They're the exact same product. You just pick one you're doing. And by the time you leave today, you're going to tell me which one of those two things you're going to do. And at the end of the day, if you write the personal statement essay, you turn it into me. If you write the college application essay, you turn it into me, and you use it on one of your applications for college if you wish, because we're killing two birds with one stone. Comments, questions? Okay, so regardless of which one you choose, you're going to use one of the 6 common application essay prompts, which I've already given to you. They're linked here. They're on my website or on Google Classroom. Select a prompt that showcases aspects of your experience. If you're applying to college, this statement will reveal the you beyond your GPA, test scores, and extracurricular involvement. I don't know about you, but if I just had to guess, I would say that this year more than ever, a personal statement matters on a college application essay, because grades are kind of messed up from last spring, and they're certainly messed up right now. Many students are not taking the SAT or the ACT, so there are no test scores necessarily. And that was happening even before we had a pandemic, because there were some issues with the bias of tests towards certain socioeconomic levels. So bottom line is, what you say in this could work very well in your favor. We've done a great deal of pre-writing. We did the essence object box thing. We did the values worksheet. We did the feelings need thing. You did the challenges sheet. I had you write informally on several topics. We've looked at several models along the way. I think we've looked at a total of 11 or 12 models in class, from temper to woofy down the well to 12, etc. We've thought a good deal about what we say as being enhanced by how we say it and why it matters, and looking at those 3 levels. So, specific requirements. Let's be real clear. Let me know if you have any questions. Number 1, the essay is personal. You're allowed to use the first person. Matter of fact, I don't know how you write without using I, me, my in my paper. But don't rely on an informal voice and style throughout. So, for example, in the Ed Puzzle video things I was reading, some people were just incredibly informal in those. And it's okay to use personal pronouns, but it's not okay to write to me like you're texting to me. You know, you want to still have a level of language that shows you're in an academic setting. You need to adhere to correct conventions of English, grammar, spelling, capitalization, usage, mechanics, unless you're breaking those rules because it's clear you're doing it for a stylistic effect. If you spell a word wrong, and it's in your paper, I'll just say, oh, that's spelled incorrectly. But if you spell a word wrong because you're using a piece of dialogue to illustrate what a child might say, and you're saying, I made a conscious choice to misspell there, that's different. If you write a sentence fragment in your paper, it's a sentence fragment. But if you write the phrase all the way down, period, in your paper, I'd be like, oh, because that's a sentence fragment, but clearly you're creating a point with that. It says here, express your story with strong detail, compelling language, and a pleasing style. This is an essay that asks you to take some risks as you express the story. All right, questions with the language on this? It's the most informal thing you'll write all year for me, for sure. Okay, number 2, type the prompt you select at the beginning of the essay word for word, okay? So that's all, like I said, it's up here linked on the on here if you're at home, or it's on the Google Classroom, or you could even Google it. And I want to know which prompt you select. Number 3 is your essay has to be between 450 and 650, and that does not include your name and the title and the question and all that stuff. Number 4 is your paper must be typed in MLA format. If you don't know what that is by the time you're a senior in high school, you can click it right there. You could Google MLA format, but that tells you font choice, spacing, margins, heading, all that nonsense. And the paper is worth 80 points, and you should see the rubric for how those 80 points will be distributed. As of today, as of right now, I think you guys have in this class, let's see. As of today, close. You have maybe 104 points, maybe 130 points-ish. I don't know. So this paper is, it's 80. So it's not quite half your grade. So here are the 4 scenarios. Scenario number 1, you like your grade right now, and you do a nice job on this, you keep your nice grade. Scenario number 2, you hate your grade in here right now, and you do a nice job on this can move your grade in a big way. Scenario number 3 is you hate your grade and you don't do well on this. Well, I think you've created a sandy foundation for the house, which will probably never stand. You have, if you have a terrible grade right now and you bomb this, I think you've signed up for credit recovery and perhaps not graduating from Columbine High School for this credit. And then the last thing is if you have a good grade right now and you tank this, it's gonna actually show pretty strongly. I went over this rubric before on the video last Friday. Not going to go over it again. I think you should just look at the column you want to be. Do you want to write an A paper? Well, do these things. If you want to write a passable, proficient paper, do what's in the B and C column, the second one. If you want to get a D and get a diploma, that's what you need to do. And if you want to get 50% or fewer, then 40% or fewer, put it over here. If you have questions about this document, let me know. I need you to attach this document to the paper that you submit. When you submit a physical copy in 6 days, you submit this on top. Pretty basic stuff, right? We've done this so many times. My wife teaches 4th grade. They make rubrics, this is nothing new. Okie dokie artichoke's back on the pink sheet. We're moving along really quick. Due date and time. Here we go. The paper copy is due at the beginning of the class, your next in-person day. So for you guys sitting in this room, or the B people, that is October 1st. On October 1st, you walk in the room and you hand me a paper, okay? Electronic copy is due by 7 a.m. that day. Now on the slideshow, you're going to see 7:30, so I'll take 7:32. But bottom line is before school starts. So have the thing ready to go on the day you come to school, and then you're off. So you guys in the room, you guys have one more day than the people that were in the room when you guys were online yesterday, okay? Because they had one more day on the workshopping. Online students need only complete electronic submission. So if you never come into the school, you can just upload it to turn it in before school starts. But I actually really do want a copy of your paper. So if you have any way to get me a copy of your paper by having it delivered or through a sibling or a friend, or if you have no problem in at least going in the front door and handing it to Miss Van Zaneris or Miss Van Noordstrand, you guys, I'm kind of talking to you guys. I would like a physical copy because I don't really score papers. I don't like scoring papers on a computer at all. All right. And then the last thing is the paper is due by the deadline, regardless of your absence. So even if you're absent that day, it's still due that day because we've had all this time to work on it. You can still do the electronic submission. I heard once that we're never going to have another snow day at Columbine High School because if it snows, they'll just say, everybody, we're doing a remote day. So the pandemic may have killed things like snow days. And the fact that we are all online has sort of killed the ability to turn something in late because we're all able to do that. Paper loses 10% for E. Okay. Apparently I stopped typing there. I don't know why. And then I hit photocopy. but that would be 10% each 24 hours. That's how my class works. Comments, questions, concerns? All right, this is way too much of me talking. Would you read these little 8 bullets at the very bottom of the think sheet, please? Let me know if you have any questions about the 8 bullets at the very bottom. Some of them are a little bit repetitive. Some things just, I'm trying to emphasize something that we've covered. Comments, questions, we okay? Let me point out 2 things. One is this whole thing about I didn't make varsity, bad breakup, my first speeding ticket. I don't care what you write about at all. Obviously you should pick something that's interesting, but your paper doesn't live on what you write about. Your paper lives on how you tell the story of what you're writing about and why the story you tell holds some meaning. So lots of people can write the story, bad breakup, okay? However, how you tell the story is how that's going to be, how you're going to separate. And that's where you're going to show your you, and you're going to show your talent, your craft, you're going to show your vulnerability, and the why, of course, will show your values and superpower. Flip this piece of paper over. There are some questions you could ask, if you wish, of somebody else. At the end of the day, it's personal writing, which is weird, but at the end of the day, I'm reading it, and I'm sort of a stranger to you. And somebody else, if you're going to college, somebody else will read it. Will read it because that admission officer would read it. So I highly recommend you find somebody else to read your paper in the next 6 days. Okay, and in those 6 days, ask that person to give you feedback. And here are 5 criteria that you may ask for. Organization. Have the person read it and say, "Hey, does this thing flow? I mean, does it have a good beginning, middle, and end? Is my point kind of clear? Is my title consistent there? Or does it align with what I'm trying to say? Does it flow really well?" And they may say, "You know what? I kind of think you're writing 2 papers here, because at first I thought you were going to be writing about like the importance of family, but by the time I got to the end, you were talking about your perseverance." And I'm like, what is your center? So you might want to consider making it a little clearer what your center is. Or they might say, "I really liked it, but I thought the end was just kind of fell flat for me. I kind of stopped reading or wanting to read. So I really liked how you started, but if I were you, I would spend some time revising your ending." That person could give you feedback about the words you choose, your word choice, and your sentence structure. They might say, "Wow, I thought your words were amazing, but maybe they were a little too much because it was clear you kept right-clicking and trying to get more thesaurus words in there, and it just didn't sound like you." Or somebody else might say, "You know what? I found your sentences to be, a couple of sentences to be, particularly this one right here, to kind of be wordy and a little bit rambly." Or maybe they could give you advice on mechanics. They could say, "You need a comma here." Or actually, you do want to capitalize the C in Columbine, okay? They could also ask you about your ability to show, not to tell. I think that's a huge thing you should ask for is, does my story come alive? Am I showing something versus telling about it? And then finally, overall, does it show me, my values, my essence, my superpowers? So I think it'd be helpful. And you know what? People aren't ripping on you if they give you advice about how you write. Okay, that has nothing to do about those things. Your what still matters. It's still you. It's still your story. But they could say, "You know what? Maybe you could tweak this." So this is just a workshop sheet and if you don't have somebody else do this with you, I highly recommend you go through this yourself, but it's really hard to do. It's kind of like looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, "What should I do there?" Or somebody giving yourself advice on how to be more funny. It's a little rough. You probably need an outside opinion about that. All right? Okay, got it? Comments, questions? Okay, I'm trying to move kind of quickly because I want to give you guys time to work in class. So we already talked about the assignment guidelines. We just went through the writer's workshop. I've already given you the rubric. Now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you an essay. This is a personal statement essay, but it's not the one you're writing because it's shorter. It's about a third of the length of what you're producing. And this is actually an application for Stanford University. And Stanford University wants students with intellectual vitality. So they ask them to reflect on an experience that kind of sparked your intellectual development. Okay? What we have here is the same essay twice. Same exact what. The what is identical here and here. What's different is how it was written and why it ultimately has a power to it. So I need you guys to read these and then read the comments. You don't have to read all the comments, but I want you to read the essay twice. So take this little piece of paper here, because this is what I want you to do today. It was my request. I asked that you had a draft today. And some people said, like, where do we turn in the draft? Where do you turn in the draft? It's like, I don't want your draft. I want you to use your draft to improve. So what I'd like you to do is hopefully go from the top essay here to the bottom essay. So do me a favor, read these two little essays and some of the comments about a first draft, which is a good draft from a good writer, to a much improved essay here. So take a couple minutes to do that. You guys at home, just click right here. You put your hand up and let me know. 5 is I've read both articles and I'm ready to go. 0 is I haven't even started. 4 is I'm almost done. What do you got? Okay, I still have a couple 3s and 4s, so I'm going to give you just another minute or so. I'm still taking attendance anyway. Okay, here we go. When we take a look at this little sheet here, this is kind of weird, but here's what I need you to do. I need you to turn to the smart kid next to you and ultimately decide on something you can say about these. Okay, what can we borrow or steal from the transfer or the transformation from this top essay to the bottom one? What struck out at you? So just talk with the smart kid next to you about how one might improve one's writing based on the models we're seeing here. Go, talk to the kid next to you. Get your ideas out so that when we talk as a big group, you've already practiced, okay? Go! Go! Jane, you gotta cover your face with a mask. That's the whole purpose of the mask.
Hello, person.
Purpose. What do you notice about the paper? In either case, getting better.
Dead on his desk.
Okay.
I saw the phone. I tried to, but Mr. Hanson kept walking back. I was like, I can't.
Almost done. She's absent. He's hard.
How much she's hard. My brain.
Say.
Oh, person, where are you going?
Absent.
Mine was kind of like the first one, and it's just stating stuff without really like making a connection at all. This kind of thing.
Those
Doing that, I'll try to
as tardy.
be a bit more concise and a bit more expressive.
Alrighty then.
Concise and expressive. We go thump, thump, thump. My mom's an English teacher. She hates that I'm really bad at writing essays.
Okay, here we go. Help me out with something you noticed. So, like, for example, here, I'll throw out. One thing I noticed is I do appreciate in both essays how the person did reference some precision, some specifics. For example, the references to Apocalypse Now, Heart of Darkness, and The Ride of the Valkyries were at least specific, as opposed to, when I heard music, it made me think this. So the precision with, Shostakovich's String Quartet No. 8 and the KGB, like those details are lively and they make your paper different than the other kid who likes music, okay? So what did you notice about either of these essays that you could borrow from or the changes you saw? What sticks out at you? The what doesn't change, identical essay in terms of what they're about, but the why and how are elevated in the second on the bottom half. Oh, help me out. Come on, play school. Play school. Let me know something you see on here. What I should do is I call in the people on the computer because right now it shows 3 people are watching and I'm supposed to have at least 6 people watching right now, which means 3 people aren't watching. Now, if I was one of those teachers, I would say something right now. I would say the Google Classroom checkout question is, what is the 4th word on this slide? And it would be the word if. And then you would have to go in and do that. Do you have teachers that are doing that? That are doing something in the middle of their class live in the moment?
No.
I think I'm going to start doing that. I think I'm going to find something that I just say randomly for 5 seconds in the middle of the class, and you either hear or not, I don't know. Do you think students are taking advantage of the remote situation? Because what I'm hearing is a lot of whining about how hard it is, and I'm amazed because you start school at 9 o'clock in the morning. You're done at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you can be sitting on your futon at home. Yet apparently it's hard for people to manage. Those three of you watching right now, I guess I'm not talking to you, but
It's more of the mental fortitude
It
to
is.
sit down and do something
right,
when you are right next to your person.
right. So you think people don't have mental fortitude? Some people
Especially in
don't.
this generation, yes.
Yes. Here's what I believe about the pandemic. The pandemic reveals who you are. You know, if you have strength of character and mental fortitude, it reveals that, right? And if you've always been distractible, you're more distractible. And if you are going to struggle with getting out of high school, this is going to solidify that ain't happening. Is that you? Okay. All right, here we go. Give me something. Neil, you had something. Go.
From either one.
Well, you had your hand up before I kind of started talking about what I thought of homeschool or people reading at home. Go ahead.
Yeah. I thought it was unique that he didn't just focus on music, but he joined it with multiple different things, not just history, but also literature.
Okay.
The second one.
Nice. So we've got the weaving together. That's good. What else is good? What is this? Hey, Mariah.
In the first essay, it's like really long and he explained everything maybe too much.
Okay.
And then in the second one, he still got like the same amount of detail. but
Yes.
in the third one.
Yeah, it's in the way it's kind of broken up or chopped up. It doesn't feel as like tiring in some ways. Feel free to use short sentences, short paragraphs. When we write about the Handmaid's Tale, and I ask you for your literary analysis essay, I'm going to say, you know what? Your paragraphs in that paper better be like 8, 12, 15 sentences long. Feel free to write a one-sentence paragraph here, because you're allowed to break things up a little bit. Hi.
It's very visually appeasing, not just in the way it's laid out, but also in how the words are laid out.
Okay. Like how so? Like what made you say that? I think that's a valid point, but how?
How it flows, intrigued.
Yes.
Red book / Smurdoff.
Nice. So there's a manipulation of sentence structure, I think, that makes certain words pop, I think, which is a good idea. I mean, obviously the beginning pops, right? Thump, thump, thump. The bows crash. Knock, knock, knock. That's the KGB, right? So there's clearly something that's pushing these words. All you have is words when you're writing. So you have to let those words push out, okay? No emojis, Obviously this has to happen. So what technique does this final draft on the bottom use at the beginning? Repetition. What else is present in the first line? Alliteration. What else is present in the first line? The bows crash like tsunami waves. It's a simile, right? And now bottom line is I will never hear the music, but what I can do is perhaps imagine some sound that's loud and powerful. And there we go. Anything else? What else did you notice about either of these things? Same exact story. Halfway through the essay on the bottom, it didn't stop there, period. So using that short punctuated sentence to just say, but I'm still going. How about the questions? Did you notice how the second one had a number of questions being asked? Normally, if you ask questions in an essay, I'm not interested as an English teacher. I don't want to read your questions. I don't want you to write. I wonder what the flowers in Handmaid's Tale can be representative of. I want you to tell me your interpretations of the flowers. But on these, maybe the question makes us more attached to your story somehow and brings me in. The whole point of this exercise is this is fine. This is good. But there are ways to manipulate the how that will make your paper better. And that's why the other period studies teachers have collected the essays. But I'm giving you guys one more week to make them better and polish them. I really want essays to start edging towards this right-hand column here. No. My right, your left, where you're really trying to manipulate allusion and symbolism and metaphor and dialogue and descriptive language and imagery and all these devices so that the essays kind of don't fall as flat. And so I want you to take the time to do that. Speaking of which, let's go to steps 4 and 5. I want to take that paper back from you because you don't need it. All I wanted to do is show you the same essay 2 ways. I think most students turn in a draft when they turn in a final copy. That's kind of what school rewards. Get it done and turn it in. I really want you to think about making yours better. Here we go. Steps 4 and 5. Step 5, we're going to do first, real quick. Take a look. You may click on this at any point in your life. Here are just a bunch. I don't know how many, like 10 or 12. These are all exceptional, strong personal statements. And so they are here if you are stuck, for you just to glance at them, read through them, and do what Picasso said. He said, if there's anything to steal, I steal. So we look at this first one, religion and science. Dev, what's your religion? I felt hot. My heart quickened. I tensed with apprehension while hurriedly reviewing possible answer choices in my head. Atheist, agnostic, lurking much farther down the list. Muslim, although, so what would you steal from this? You're not going to steal the what? You're not going to steal a story of your religion. What you're going to steal is start with a question, like the confrontation between two people. Someone asks you a direct question, and all of a sudden I felt my heart quickened. Instead of what? I have wondered about how my religion fits into society in many ways. You know, like that idea, like you don't want to tell, you want to show, you want to put me in the moment. Or maybe you read one like this one. This is the one that I read on the remote class on Friday. Maybe like this one is day 19. I'm in my school uniform. Flashback. Day 7. I come across. Day 13. I am engulfed. Day 18. So this one's an interesting way of telling a story by doing these little snapshots and going through this timeline. So maybe you're going to tell me how you got here by walking me through the 6 steps it took you to get there. In an essay, you would say, then, but maybe you could do something like this. Or maybe you could, here's another one that does this too, but I mean, anybody have the courage to do an exchange like that in the middle of your paper, using dialogue in such an interesting way to tell the story through dialogue? This one, we've done 12 already. And this idea of taking a single motif, like a number, and letting that number then walk out to something larger. What else? Flying, we did the flying one already. What else do we have here? Here's another one that's a series of vignettes, like February 2011, September 2013. So we're walking through almost a photo album of events to get to a story. I like this one. This was the poop one we already read, but look at this. I've been pooped on many times. Say something radical at the beginning that just makes me say, oh. This is an interesting word choice. I'm not sure what word choice poop is.
I hope not.
Is that vulgar? Is that childish? But it's certainly calling attention. But look at this. Look at the essay here. I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. It almost reads like a song. Songs have that repetition of an afro at the beginning of sections. So maybe you can come up with some way to do some smaller paragraphs. And then look at this. Actually, I do mind. This parenthetical where we're almost doing an aside where I'm going to tell you a story, but just let me tell you a secret inside my story. Use a parenthetical. So bottom line is you could go through these essays and you could absolutely, like this one's fun. You didn't read this one yet. This one's all about the idea of an topic moment. But steal from these. Steal the way they structure sentences. Look at this. This one has like, aha. The traces of a ghost Pokemon, exclamation point. Nobody writes like that in essays in school. This is a personal essay. I want to hear your voice. So look at these essays and steal from them if you can. And the last thing I want to do, so this is available to you. There's tons of them here. The last thing I want to do is this, which is I want to look at examples in need of revision. Because here's where you get 6 days between now and next Thursday. I need you to take an essay, which is an important story to you, and make it better. So let's look at this one real quick. This is what I think you could turn into me, and this is what I would recommend you don't, because you have a what here. The what story is great, but why? The why is diluted because how is not as strong as it could be. Let me just read the beginning of this story, and I want you to give this writer some advice. Words on Words. Is that a good title? Sure, why not, right? Ever since I was 19 months old, I could share my thoughts to people through talking. Like this one time I was with my grandma and my mom at a nail salon a couple months before I turned 2, and while my grandma was paying and my mom was grabbing the car, I began to talk to the man who was waiting for his wife right next to me. Obviously, I don't remember the stranger I met inside the nail salon, but I have a good feeling that he remembers me. Thinking back, he can probably still remember my mom's name, my dad's name, what my favorite color is, and how my grandma makes the best homemade lemonade because being the newbie to English I told him all those things and more. My mom came into the salon and apologized, probably thinking that I was annoying or bothering the man. But he replied with telling my mom how funny and enjoyable of a conversation was. Every time my mom and grandma would tell me this story, I couldn't help but smile, because I know that is who I am and how I still communicate now. That memory made me realize the importance of communication and the places it can take you. I'm taking nothing away from this story being important to this person. I'm taking nothing away with this person is realizing this is who I am. What an incredible thing in a personal statement to say, here is who I am. And of course, we have the importance of communication as an underlying value or superpower. Those things are there. What do you tell this student about how to start this, how to rework this story? What's wrong with this story? What can we do? What do you think we should do?
Shorten the first sentence.
What?
Shorten the first.
Shorten the first stinking sentence, okay? What else do we want to do?
The words, oh my God, use less of them.
Use fewer words. Because you can get a point across with fewer words, right? What else are we going to tell her to do? What should we start with? What is the first thing we should do in this essay?
Get a clear idea of what you're talking about. It sounds like the person's just rambling on and on without any, I guess.
So wait, and if you're gonna ramble on and on like this little kid did at almost 2 years old, saying my mom's name, my dad's name, my favorite color, my grandma, then let the kid do the rambling by putting it in dialogue in the story. Does that make sense? Because you don't want to come off as the 18-year-old who's rambling in my essay. You want to come off as, I was a kid who used to ramble. Are you there with this person? Are you at the nail salon with the stranger? Could you give some details about the physical location? And some of you are going to say, but I don't remember exactly what it was like. All right, well, was there a parking lot? Do you think there was a parking lot? Do you think maybe you could say that, like, you know, I don't know. You give some details to make it alive, vibrant, vivid. I love this idea of my grandma makes the best homemade lemonade, but that's just kind of buried inside this kind of long piece. The what, do not ever feel like your what doesn't matter. Your what's totally important, but how you structure it, totally consider that. Let me show you another beginning of another one, just for giggles. Here's another one. This one is called No Title. Okay. Obstacles can come in many forms, such as physical, mental, or emotional. Can't argue with that. Overcoming a physical obstacle challenges both the mental and emotional mindset. Can't argue with that. The biggest obstacle I have overcame in my life came last year. Hockey has always been the biggest motivating factor in my life. In the blink of an eye, it was taken away from me. My entire life was turned upside down, and I was as close to an out-of-control tailspin spiral as possible and crashing my life. But as I write this today, I'm proud to say I have hit rock bottom, and from overcoming my personal obstacles, I am currently now climbing my way to the top of the mountain. While starting my first varsity hockey game, blah, 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 blah. I suffered a setback, and I have bounced back. That's an important story. It shows resilience. It shows positivity. It shows growth. What's the problem with this beginning? Do you know anything about the setback? And maybe we're going to get to it here, but we don't. Can you maybe tell me, what does it mean to be an out-of-control tailspin spiral? Are there about 1 million ways to interpret that? Does this person have exactly one way that person was in an out-of-control tailspin spiral? Yeah. You need to make your story you, and you need to be vulnerable enough to jump out and say what that is. How was hockey taken away from this person? You know, show that. If it was painful, where's the pain? How did it feel? Can you describe it? Can you describe the day, the moment, the realization? And as the story goes on, and we talk about this, you know, now at the end, you know, the biggest lesson I've learned from this obstacle is trust. Trust may sound simple, but trusting doctors, staff, my parents, and trusting myself. During and after the incident, I had to find the inner strength, and now I have to trust. If your theme is trust, you need to mention that somewhere early so that unites the piece. That trust is something I've grown in. So these papers feel like first drafts. I don't want to read a first draft next week. I want to read something that you have come back to and tweaked and done that hard thing where you delete part of it or move it around or shift it. You guys, this is a challenging paper in some ways because it's your story, but you have been in school for 12 years and there's ways that you guys can play with language. You're surrounded by language every day. All right, I'm shutting up now though. Look at all that stuff we have. We have guidelines and workshops and rubrics and models and everything. At the end of the day, your job, if you're in the room today, is to just start working on improving this essay. And that's all I'm going to do and so I'm here to help you right now. Over the next 6 days, if you want my help one-on-one, we can meet like on Google Meets or Google Zooms or whatever they are, okay? And I can help you with your paper one-on-one. I've already done it with several students. If you want my help, I'm happy to help you. But I want you to turn in something you're pretty proud of, that you feel like is something that I have crafted, not something that I've whipped together like as a quick journal entry. This is not a journal entry. This is supposed to be a crafted piece. All right? That's a lot of me talking. Sorry. Ready? Find something to do, and I'm just going to stay up here, and I'll walk around. If you have questions, I'll come visit you, okay? Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, so you have lots of really precise moments, precise details in your approach. Here's what I recommend. If I were to say something like, number one is, in a lot of it's like, I became, I learned, I also did, I would only do thing, and you're writing, it's an I paper, but like how many times you start doing something, I did, I stayed, I did, so like you want to vary your sentence structure by flipping things around. And you can do it like, I visited retail, softball in his house. You say something like, standing on the top of the retail, you know what I'm saying? Just start with, so flip some of your sentences around so that you can get construction thing there. One thing I wonder, and I'm telling you, I think when you start with this club, which is cool, but I don't think you get, I think knowing yourself and your end, I think that's kind of weird. Now, I get that you lived a long time ago, and it's still weird, but I'm not sure that's your best start off. I think you're make bigger changes, and I think that, I think quote or irrelevant, I think it may be better relative to historical people, you could, say, like, I don't know, I just think that's it. But I also like, I'm not a big fan of writing the top four in your paper, you know what I'm saying?
I want to show that.
Right, but I'm not sure this essay doesn't show that she's learned anything about like pictures and enemies, you know what I'm saying?
What it's saying in the color is,
You know yourself, I get that. I totally get it. Well, then maybe you just do something, I don't know, it's just a long quote, and know yourself is in there, but also confused in there 2 times, out or 3 times, you know what I'm saying, like there are enemies in there, and so like, I think it's fun, it's nothing wrong, I'm just saying, I'm not sure it ties these together. I'm wondering, maybe we play this form a little bit, like, if you like history, you look at something wrong, you parallel, this is my timeline of my life, and how I didn't interact with the timeline of history that I'm so fascinated about, between style 8 and 4 times, 1969 to 1990, all of yours, 775, whatever. Is there a way that kind of weave that the timelines together, that here's my timeline, and I'm really going up, I'm going to see this timeline bigger than me, but now I don't think it's appreciate. So maybe like, you have this marching through years here, right? You keep marking the paragraphs with time, but I think could you even be more literal about the way there are 2 timelines here? There's mine and this one, and how do they, almost by like, better style, you do time markers. I don't even know. Does that make sense? Because I think it's there, but at the end of the day, I think it's a strong essay, but it's also a lot of just telling. thing, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like a new routine, like a safer one.
Yeah.
So I have
Or is there, what is there just something? So what's the single value?
I was thinking when you get into history of people to
Because you can relate if it's different or anything. But I think you could do something like that. And you can, if you're gonna start with this part about knowing yourself, then you need to know yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you know about yourself that you know about yourself? Like, what's your value? What's your central value? Like, at the end of the day, to me, that's what is this show about you? Other than that, you know what I'm saying? You got to use one term to like use it to like, I have passion. You know what I'm saying? So, and so like the thing, I mean, this idea of like immersion, fascination, is one of the things to know. There's a lot of intersection of like, some of the irony of like, you know, you get more of it by reading, doesn't care what you do. Synergy of time. And go to work. Yeah. I want to focus on myself. And the farther I am from myself, the more I love myself. I'm looking for a really different year. And I'm seeing that kind of thing. Yes, sir.
So what I'm doing is all my bits are like, all my bits are like, and I'm like, here's the last two that would know what this and what the
Everything's 10% of that. So, you probably want to do the more decent things to get the more value of it. Yeah, so that, I'll accept anything, but the reductions are gonna be a lot less. You know, maybe if you use that as only 3 or 4 days. But that's what I get paid money to help you. Call me over if you want me to help you. Otherwise, I'm going to take attendance more. If it takes that long. I think we're almost out of here, guys. So you guys can check out. If you're at home, please check out. This says, just to reiterate what we're doing, no surprises. Your personal statement is due on the day you come back. For some of you, that's 9:30. For some of you, that's going to be 10:01. If for some reason you couldn't complete the art videos today, you need to tell me why, because those are due right at the end of this period. Check out. Look at your grades, figure out if there's something going on that you need to email me about. Email me. We can set a time to meet during access. It'd be a really easy thing for you and I just to pop on a Google Meet and talk through everything, okay? I actually get paid money to help you, so come check in if you need to do so, okay? There we go. Thanks for your help. I hope you guys have done today. I hope it was beneficial for you guys. Hey, have a nice job. Hey, don't smoke, guys.
That was Chinese.
That wasn't Chinese.
That was Chinese.
Like you said,
Mr. Moore, real quick. Mr. Moore? are you
Yes,
there?
sir.
So, I think you probably have like a day to figure out if you're gonna graduate or get through this course. Because we're at 6 weeks right now and you've done that. So you, basically, what you do this weekend kind of would determine, in my opinion, your semester, because they don't want to have a conversation in December about having to do this. I'm not completely understanding. School is so incredibly easy right now, and if you can't pass, it's on you, okay? So you'll tell me, I'll know by Monday whether or not to put energy, because I'm not gonna throw energy down.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hey, Friesen, how's it going? So the other day, the last time we were in class, we had a entry ticket, and I was unaware because I was absent the day before.
Okay.
So I got it finished. I don't know if it matters, but I got it finished. So I was kind of confused about the bottom part.
No, that was for the other people.
Okay.
You either were injured or exiting, so you're fine.
Cool. Okay, cool.
All right,
So,
thank you. I'll
and
take a
then-
look at that.
We also talked about last period that course expectations thing that I'm missing in Drano.
Uh-huh.
I asked you where to find it. You told me where to find it. I went and did it.
Okay, so it's good. I'll look at that too.
And then I am missing the what's it called?
I can look right here.
The thing we did yesterday.
Yeah, the ed.
I marked myself that I was there, but I was in a car at the time, so it was like really hard for me to get on a computer.
So if you're there means you're doing classwork. Doesn't mean you exist on a machine. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so get it done.
I am doing it.
When it's done.
Okay, cool. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice weekend.
You too.
If you're here, welcome.
So in another room, we had to do this thing where we test like our nerves or whatever. So you had to like poke yourself with a needle.
Yes.
And this is what my skin looked like afterwards. No else's skin looked like this. Isn't that gross?
That's your skin?
Yeah.
What's her skin?
I don't know. That's my skin.
So you were poking yourself or what? Just to show that your skin would pop up?
No, it's like, can you feel something? If
And you
the
just
nerves
basically
work?
reacted to it?
Yeah. So
Nice to hear.
I know.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, welcome. Do you guys hand sanitize me before you come in, if you wouldn't mind? That'd be great. Thank you so much. And the desks are a little wet, but it takes a few minutes.
You don't wipe them off?
Well, we do have the wipes. We do have those, if you'd like to do that. But absolutely. We'll do them. Yeah, we just got our bucket of wipes today, so pretty exciting. All right, so that's here, and this goes here. Next, let's do the intake. And this person got this here. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Essays to do today?
No, a draft today. Yes.
I'll find out what I was talking to Noah.
I'll give you the rest. I don't know. Enterprise. You just need to make sure. Yeah, but it's just good. It's literally. I was sent it. Yeah. Yeah, no, we just need to make the fire numbers. I can't promise to be able to. Dude, the next person on the mask is spraying. So I'm not really looking for good. Yeah, no, no. No, I did it. And it wasn't.
Hello, humans. Make sure you get hand sanitizer before as you come in, everybody. Your desks are going to be a little bit wet, but that's the nature of the beast. You protect people.
Always going to Waffle House. Oh, shoot, shut up. You're on fishing. I'm telling you.
Dude, can you make me a trade? Whatever you want. Oh, bros, you really want me to go to Waffle House? Or help the boys out?
Dun, dun, dun. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Holy cow. Hey, welcome to English class. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making English part of your day. My name is Mr. Friesen. I'll be your teacher for the day. If you need a paper towel, they're up here as well. So there you go.
My desk looks like a water park.
Welcome. Show up on time, please. Thanks for being here. If you're on YouTube Live, great. Thanks for being here as well. Let's see. That would be. So, Ashton, are you here? No. William Martin just showed up. Abby is here. Ray, are you here today? Doesn't look like it. Zoe's not here. Wes is here. Owen is here. Renee is here. Hi. Which one are you? Ashton. Oh, that's right. There you are. Welcome. Trent is here. Christian is here. Aiden. Who's Aiden? There you go. Welcome. Perfect. And Ian is here. Okay. Great. Thanks for being here. I'll check for those of you who are at home in just a moment. I start the class the same way every day, so it goes just like this. Good morning. Thanks for coming. Thanks for making English a part of your day. My name is Mr. Friesen. I'll be your teacher for the day. I've got a poem today. It's called The Kiss. And it's by Sasha Pimentel, and it's based on the painting The Kiss. And I'm actually going to read this poem twice. Once is without you seeing the painting, and then once is with you seeing the painting. So at the end of the time of me just reading it, you just go, at the end. So this is based on Gustav Klimt's 1907-1908 poem called The Kiss. It goes just like this. The Kiss. Do you really think if you bend me, I will love you? You crack my chin up? Your hands, brown pigeons, scheming reunion at my cheek and temple. Your jaw, cragged at the end of your thick neck of longing. I claw onto you as the only tree here. You swing, your swing. I'm mad for gravity, though. I'm mad for gravity, though I'm bound diagonally to you. Let me. Push from your trunk towards the edge and my freedom. Leave me to wither while moss weeps in the corners, our halo liquid as yolk. Wavering from our body's heat, our divinity melting. My dress blossoms loudly. You're still wrestling me closer. If only I could release to you my mouth just this once, and you would leave me. But the shadows of your robe are so haphazard. I know you will try to smother me again. The poppies scratch. My feet reach beyond spring. And you guys say? And then here's the poem, or here's the picture. And what we're going to do in this class is starting next week, we're actually going to start taking art apart. We're going to look at art and look at how we break it down. And we're actually going to pair it with poetry because both art and poetry are kind of conveniently short and small, and we can digest them in one viewing. We don't need to come back to them over days. It's not like a film that you need to give it hours and watch a series of images. Single image, single group of words on a page. So now look at this picture. And at the same time, take a look at how Sasha is writing about it. What do you think? The Kiss. Do you really think if you bend me, I will love you? You crack my chin up, your hands, brown pigeons, scheming reunion at my cheek and temple. Your jaw cragged at the end of your thick neck of longing. I claw onto you as the only tree here. Your swing. I'm mad for gravity, though I'm bound diagonally to you. Let me. Push from your trunk towards the edge and my freedom. Leave me to wither while moss weeps in the corners. Our halo, liquid as yolk, wavering from our body's heat, our divinity melting. My dress blossoms loudly. You are still wrestling me closer. If only I could release to you my mouth just this once and you would leave me, but the shadows of your robe are so haphazard. I know you will try to smother me again. The poppies scratch. My feet reach beyond spring. And then you guys say, of course, some of you are the kisser in this. Some of you are the kissy in this. So here's what we're going to do today, my friends. If you were here yesterday, you did the exact opposite of what you're doing today. So if you're at home, you're going to be doing what everybody that was here did online. And if you're here today, or one of the people that are online, always, you're going to do what the in-person or the people did at home. So here's the plan. So those of you in the room, and Abbas and Jade, you're going to not do this because you already did it. But if you're at home online, you're going to do this. Go to today's Google Classroom and find 5 Edpuzzle videos. And those videos are from a series on the website called Smart History. And we're going to use that website as kind of a landing place for our study of art because it's a place with just tons of art resources. So these videos, these 5 videos that you'll see, are our first step into looking at art and considering why art matters. So your job today in class or at home is to go through the 5 videos and answer the embedded questions. And those are due by the end of the period today. So that's at 1:04, people at home. And this is not supposed to be your homework because your homework is to work on your improved personal statement. So you could do that this week. You could do this on Friday. You could do it over the weekend, or actually next week. But bottom line is you're ready to submit that sucker on 9:30 when you guys show up at class. Okay, that's your homework. So you'll have already submitted it online and handed me a hard copy. Okay, so let me know via Google Classroom, by the chat in YouTube Studio, or the most effective way to let me know is just to email me because it pops up on my computer screen instantly. And then you need to return to class at the end to check out. Class ends at 1:04, so why don't you shoot to be back here at like 1:02 or something like that. And at 1:02, I'll say goodbye and also remind you to check out as well. So if you have any questions at home, let me know. Otherwise, you don't have to stay on the YouTube live stream. I don't care. It's totally up to you. Ready? Go. All right. Now, you guys in the room and the remote B people, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at your personal statement essay today. We're going to go through some kind of criteria for them, look at some models, but then I'm going to give you some time to work on it in class. So here's the plan. Today, we look at it by going through this series of steps. First, I'm going to give you the assignment guidelines. And these guidelines, they shouldn't be any surprises on here. I'm also going to show you some stuff about a writer's workshop. I'm going to give you the rubric that I went over on Friday on a video. On a video Friday, I kind of walked you through the rubric, and here it is. We're going to take a look at an improved essay where we have an essay 2 times. We have an essay that's produced once. It's been revised and made better, and we're going to talk about ways to improve writing. We're going to look at essays in desperate need of revision and try to give those people some advice. And then we're going to look at, I'm going to just show you that there's one more place to find some strong examples. So for all you humans in the room, oh, I should have said this. I don't know if you guys are there, but all you humans in the room, you need your computer anyway because you got to check in. And then if you could get to this page right here on the slideshow, because all of these are links, okay? And I'm going to hand some papers out while you do that. If you're at home, if you are never in school, these are links to everything that I'm handing out right now, okay? The yellow words. So first thing I'm going to give you is the assignment. Hello. Hello. You're welcome. Thanks for coming to school tonight. Glad you're here. Welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Carol. All right. Check in by answering the question. I forget, what is the question today? Okay, can we see the results of that little poll here? Let's see. Let's see how adept we are. And if you've never changed one, the answer cannot be the first answer. Okay?
Discount minors like that.
Yes, exactly. If you've never changed one, it cannot be the first answer. Of course. On the side of a road, though.
I'm like professional. So.
Okay. Attendance check in. All right, here's our results. You see, no, here we go. See, looks like we got 10 people say they could do it in under 20 minutes. Some people say it would take them more than 20 minutes, which I would say is by far the average human. And then I could not at present change a tire. But some people are like, but I know how to call AAA. I know how to call. Okay. Here we go, my friends. All right, everybody got it? We checked in? Okay, I gave you a pink piece of paper. I do not intend on, I want to give you time at the end of the period or during the period to work today, but I do need you to follow along real quick. As a teacher, I've taught in this building for a long time. Here's the way it usually works. We usually do something together, like we read the book The Handmaid's Tale, and then I say, okay, now I need you guys to write a paper. And I hand you the assignment guidelines, and then you start writing the paper. In theory, you've already written your paper because I told you for today to have a draft of your paper ready. So I'm actually giving you the assignment guidelines after you've written because I didn't want you to be focused on like all the nuts and bolts here. I wanted you to just write. And my guess is, and my hope is that when we go through this little pink piece of paper here, you will you'll say, I'm already doing that. I'm already doing that. I'm already doing that. And everything on this sheet is going to be stuff you already know, but I do need to emphasize it. So first off, under the description up top, it says the purpose of narrative writing, because it's supposed to be a narrative essay, is to tell a story. However, the story you tell in this essay is about you. It's written as a response to a specific prompt. So you need to select a prompt with thought, design your response with care, and design your response with care, craft, and originality. It should reveal vulnerability, one or more values, or superpower. So what do I want to make sure you're clear on? You're very clear that this is not an essay where you are telling me something. You are showing me your involvement in a story. You are creating a tale of something. And it is a vibrant story that is revealing these things. And these things all have to be in your paper. Vulnerability. All that means is personal things that would apply to you only. 1 million people have had to move. 1 million people have had parents who are divorced. 1 million people broke their arm, okay? But what are specific details about it that is your story? And you have to kind of go out there on the ledge a little bit and say, this is only my tale. Values, you have to be able to communicate in the story, not just what happened to you, but how it sort of changed or made you who you are today. What do you believe in? What do you hold dear to your heart? And then superpower. I had a couple of people yesterday wondering about this superpower word. Superpower was at the end of the activity we did where they talked about, it was the way the guy in the video turned the sheet sideways. And he said, I want you to put a challenge that you went through, 3 challenges. And then what was an effect of that challenge? What did you feel? What did you need? And then what did you learn and kind of how you came out the other side? That's the superpower. Superpower is something you do or can do or are that is you specific. So your superpower might be your ability to listen more than you speak. That you don't just listen waiting to interject your point, but you actually try to empathize through listening. Or your superpower might be that I have an incredibly sharp attention span. Or your superpower might be I know exactly what I want, and I'm willing to sacrifice certain things to get there. And that's my superpower. That's the thing that I have that is really important to me. These 3 things are all absolutely tied together. But the superpower could be, I'm really good at fixing computers. And that's fine. It has to be the thing that you possess that you know about yourself that makes you distinct. Does that make sense a little bit? At the end of the day, if I read your paper, and at the end of the day I say, that's good, but another kid could have written this paper, then you haven't done that. It has to be a paper that only you could write. All right, so your job is to pick. You're either going to craft a personal statement essay, or you're going to do the exact same thing, which is craft a personal statement essay, which becomes a college application essay. Okay? So if you are choosing to, it doesn't matter. Regardless of the path, you're going to use one of the 6 common app prompts. Those are on the document that's in the slideshow. They're also, the other day, I gave you a paper copy of them. They're also on my Google Classroom. And essentially, you must select one of those 6 prompts. And by the way, if you're applying to college with this college application essay, I mean, I don't know why you would write a college application essay that's different than the essay you're writing in here right now, because you kill 2 birds with 1 stone, in my opinion. But I would argue that if you are applying for colleges, there has never been a year, and I'm not hyperbolic in this. A lot of people are hyperbolic, especially as campaign seasons move through. There has never been the most, people scream in extremes, okay? But I would argue that there has never been a year in which a personal statement will mean more on a college transcript. because your grades are probably jacked from last spring, as are a lot of American grades. Your grades might be jacked this fall. The ability to take the SAT was wrecked for everybody in the class of 2021. And also it was being wrecked before the pandemic because of issues with bias in testing, with socioeconomic statuses. So bottom line is they're going to look at your transcript, but they're going to look at your college application at personal statement essay. We've done a great deal of pre-writing. We did the essence object box. We did the feelings and values sheet. We did some informal pre-writing. We've done that, and we've looked at lots of models. If I had to count, I bet we've done like 11 models in class where we looked at temper and we looked at Woofy down the well, and you guys looked at, some ones you had some choice on. We've thought a lot about the what, how, why dynamic, and that's the key. Not just what you say, but how you say it, and how what you say reveals why it's you. So real quick, I'm almost done. The specific requirements are you need to use first person pronouns, but don't become informal. You're not texting to me, but ultimately you want to make this a personal voice, but not an informal voice. It's still a scholarly exercise. You still need to adhere to conventions of English grammar, spelling conventions, or capitalization, usage, and mechanics. So everything in the paper needs to be spelled correctly, unless you want to purposely misspell something. And why would you do that? I don't know. Maybe you're articulating in a piece of dialogue what a kid would say, and that kid misrepresents a word. And so you would purposely spell it wrong because you're making a choice. Or maybe you write the fragment way down there, period. And I normally would say that's a sentence fragment, but maybe you're putting it purposely in the middle because you're emphasizing distance. If you are breaking rules because you know rules, it's actually incredibly powerful. But most people who break rules just aren't aware of the rules. So you need to have correct conventions unless you're making stylistic choices. Express your story with details, strong details, and compelling language in a pleasing style. And this is an essay that asks you to take risks, so please engage in that. You need to type the prompt at the top. I need to know which one of the 6 prompts you're answering, so you just type it word for word at the top. Your essay must be between 450 and 650 words, and that's without the header and without your title and without the prompt. You must type in MLA format. If you guys don't know what that is, click on that link right there. We'll take you to the MLA page, or just Google MLA format, and MLA will tell you. But that's Times New Roman, 1-point margins, double space, no extra return between paragraphs, all that nonsense. And then the paper is worth 80 points. So as of today, sitting in this class right now, and I know there's one grade still out there for most of you, but as of today, you have in this class about 100, somewhere between 104 and 120 points, depending on which day you're on. So this paper is not quite half of your grade in the class. So you have 4 paths, okay? Path number 1, you're doing good in this class and you write a good paper. You have established a strong foundation to continue for the entire term. Path number 2, you're doing poorly in this class right now and you turn in a good paper. That is your opportunity to shift everything and begin to grow and get to where you need to be. Path number 3 is you're doing terribly and you write a terrible paper, or you don't turn it in. In my opinion, you have decided not to get credit for this course, and you'll have to do you'll probably have to do credit recovery, which could affect your ability to graduate from this high school. We could know that in as soon as 1 week. And then finally, your other choice is you're doing well in this class, but you don't take this assignment serious. This could mar you because it's big enough that it could knock you down. I don't know if you know this is how math works, but the higher your grade is, the easier it is for an assignment to knock you down, because there's more points to fall. So this is an assignment for you to really solidify your place in the class. Comments or questions about anything I've said so far? If you're like right now, duh, I know this, good, because it means you know what you're doing. Here you go. There's a little blank for you to fill in. This is the participation point. A paper copy is due at the beginning of the class on your next in-person day. For you guys, that's October the 1st, isn't it? October 1. No, October the 1st, 6 days from today. You will hand me a copy of your personal statement essay on October 1. You will also have already uploaded it to turnitin.com by the time school starts. Now, on one of my slideshows, it says it has to be done by 7:30. I'll take 7:30, 7. Those are the same to me. They're both before school starts. So essentially, as long as it's done by next Thursday morning and you have it to hand it to me, and then you have it uploaded, you're good to go. Online students, if you're never in the building, the two of you that may be watching right now, if you're never in the building, you need to get that paper to me electronically. If you are not afraid of coming in the building, just to hand it to the secretaries, Miss Manzanares or Miss Van Nordstrand, they'd put it in my mailbox. Paper is due by the deadline, regardless of absence, and everything in my class loses 10% for every E, apparently. And E must mean each 24 hours. So, for example, if you're in this room right now and you didn't do the videos yesterday, you're in the first 24 hours of late, and so on and so forth. Okay. Do me a favor. Does anybody have any questions up to here? Because that's the last thing I'm going to read. Read these 8 tips at the bottom real quick. Read the 8 tips at the bottom, and I'm going to ask you a question about them in just a second. Read the 8 tips at the bottom. Sure, absolutely. Can I answer any questions about these 8 bullets on the bottom, which are probably just restating what I've already said, right? Any news, any information here that you need clarification on this bottom down here? Sounds good. All right, flip the paper over real quick. On the back side is a writer's workshop. And here's what my advice is to you. I'm not going to require of you things. I know you probably have had teachers in the past that require some things, but my opinion is if you're a senior in high school, you know exactly what you need to have success. And at some point, you have to decide. I believe somebody else should read your personal statement before you submit it to me, because I'm already going to read it, so you're already having somebody else read it. If you're using it for college, you're going to have somebody else read it. So I would highly recommend you have somebody else read it and give you some feedback on it. And here are 5 areas that you could ask this person to read it on. If they give you criticism, it's probably not because they're criticizing what you say, because what you say is yours. How could you possibly criticize a story you tell about how, you'll always remember the smell of grandpa's, hats or something, whatever, okay? But they could give you information on your organization. They could tell you, I don't actually think you have a central idea here. I get lost halfway through. It kind of feels like at the beginning you're writing about the importance of family, but by the end you're writing about like the nature of listening to other people. And I'm like, I kind of see that, but what's your paper about? Or they could say like, your paper's beginning is really exciting and I was really involved, but by the end it kind of fizzled out. So if I were you, I'd spend a little time trying to like wrap it up in a really salient way. Or perhaps the flow seemed awkward. I really didn't understand why you did this before this. If I were you, I would totally move that ahead because that's the thing that needs to set up the idea. Maybe they could give you feedback on your sentence structure and your word choice, and they could say, I think it was good, but did you notice that you said the word, you said the word something 14 times in this paper? Or did you notice that your sentences tended to meander a little bit? And I think it would be really helpful if you used a short sentence right in here somewhere, because this is where you're getting to your punch. Maybe they could give you feedback on your mechanics, and they could say, that's actually not what a comma does. And they could show you where that comma goes, or they could point out that this is a misspelling. Could they give you some information about details? They could say, like, I totally get your story, but it's really kind of flat in this point, and maybe you could drop in some sensory details. And so instead of telling me about the really good piece of chocolate cake you ate, maybe you could actually make it come to life with some adjectives and really get some other things involved. The last thing they can maybe give you some information on is just overall. Overall, does it reflect your values, vulnerability, superpowers? Does it show some form of change or growth within you? And if not, they could say, but maybe this moment here could help. Now, I get paid real American dollars, and I will help you on this paper until it's due. So if you want to, on Access, if you want to meet in the next 6 days, I'm happy to meet with you on a little, we can do a little Google Hangout thing or whatever. I actually would be happy to read your paper and give you some feedback. I've met with several students already. One student was writing about the love of history, and we talked a little bit about, well, maybe you could do a kind of a timeline approach, or maybe we take the idea that the paper shifted here. I'm absolutely happy to be this person for you before you submit it. And then after you submit it, I'm just going to, I'll just assess it. Here's the rubric. I went over this rubric on Friday on the video. And so this is how the paper will be scored. You're welcome. And I want you to attach this to the paper that you submit in 6 days. And then you kind of decide what you're going to do. If you might want to try to live all the way here on the left. The A paper is the paper that really embraces this assignment, and it does all the things it needs to do, particularly the big section in there about language manipulation, where you're using things like metaphor or repetition. You're making a conscious choice to use dialogue or some of your word choices to tell this story. An A paper is doing all the things. The second column is a proficient paper. You get a B or a C if you live in this column. So this is 90% or above. B or C is from 70 to 90%. D's get diplomas. So you could live in the D column. You could get between 50 and 70% on this thing, somewhere around 48 points. And then the last column would be a paper that doesn't meet the mark, so you get fewer than 40 points on it. Okay. Comments, questions? Okay, we're almost done. Last thing we're going to do is look at some real models in the real world. So we're now on step 3, which is improved. I'm going to give you this piece of paper here. You're not going to keep this because you don't want it. What this is I'm going to have you read an essay. This one's a third as long as yours needs to be. This is an essay to get into Stanford by some smarty at the party, okay? We have the exact same essay 2 times. This is an essay that needs revision, and this is an essay that's been revised. They are both identical on the what. They're both the exact same story, but this one has had some revision to it. So I'd like you to read the 2 essays, and then I'd like you to read some of the comments in the margin about how this one is lacking and how this one perhaps did something. And then I'm going to ask you which of these comments were most salient to you about like what the thing needs work on or what the thing needs to do. Because in my opinion, a lot of you are probably up here right now with an essay that could be passable, right? But maybe what are some things I could do to tweak it and improve it? And that's the goal of today. So here, take one of these. Thank you. I keep going the same way. Maybe next time I'll start over there and you guys feel like you're top. Thank you. Oh boy. Thank you. Oh, is that it? Very good. Do me a favor. Read this sheet, okay? Read the 2 essays and the commentary in the sideline. Go for it. I'll give you about 5 minutes to do that because that seems to be how long it takes people to do this. Go. I'm going to take attendance while you do that. I'll give you like 1 more minute. Of what? Yeah, but it's also right here. If you click right here.
I'd do better with photos.
Oh, okay. It's fine. Yeah, just same. Okay, that's good enough, I think. I don't know. Even if it's not, it's there. I need you to come up with something to say, turn to the smart kid next to you and point out one thing about this that you can then apply to your own writing. Because you're not going to write about music and you're not going to write about Russian, in Shostakovich, but you are going to write about something. And what can you steal from this revision process? Talk to the smart kid next to you about one thing, because then when I call on you, you'll have something already on deck to say. Go! Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Service, this. Attendance check-in. I gotta take attendance. Holy cow. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so he's here, he's here. She isn't here. Here, what the hell do you get? Here, and here, and here. And here. Good. Tense. You're here. You're here. 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 And no worries. That's there. This. Shoes on. Save here. Okay, I need you to volunteer something to say about this. I know it's weird and awkward, but it's just, if you could throw something out, it'd be great. Let me tell you one thing I noticed. I like it when you want essays that have specifics. One way you have specifics would be like proper nouns. So this essay on the top actually has some of that. It has like the name of Shostakovich, and it has the Ride of the Valkyries, and Heart of Darkness, and Apocalypse Now. So there's some specifics here. And then they say you need more specifics. So this person adds the Fibonacci sequence down here. But I do like the fact that there are specifics, because you could write an entire essay and just say, I really like music. Sometimes music hits me like this. My teacher maybe played me this piece that was really impressive, and it made me think this. So I will say that regardless of the essay, the specific details are something that you want to latch onto. Okay, so can you guys tell me something about the top essay or the bottom essay or any of the comments that you say, like Picasso said, if there's anything to steal, I steal. What are you going to do? Oh, ready, go. Help me out. Come on, going once. Yes, you're Wes, right?
Yep.
Got it.
Something I liked about the bottom essay was the transitions.
Like where?
Where it says it didn't stop there.
Right.
That right there.
Yeah. So we're about halfway through the essay, and we have this very small sentence. It didn't stop there. You could never write that in an essay for English class, but that works great. And then you have those two rhetorical questions, which kind of start the second phase. So nice. So there's a nice transition. Owen, thanks.
The opening on the bottom one is really good.
Yeah, that thump, thump, thump.
Yeah.
And then knock, knock, knock. So you got repetition, onomatopoeia. Good. Anybody else want to say anything about how the second one starts? Because there's a couple of things there that are quite good, I think, maybe. Because that was in the top one, right? The whole idea of the KGB knocking, that was in the top one. But what did we do? We elevated it to the front, and we make us see, smell, taste, touch, or hear something. What else does the first line have, you guys? Smart seniors in English class. Thump, thump, thump. The bows crash like tsunami waves against the strings of a cello and violin. It's got what? Knock, knock, knock. It does have knock, knock, knock. I mean, it does resonate with that. It's a simile. I heard it. It's a simile, right? So you're using poetic language. And poetic language, you could tell me it was really loud and powerful, but the simple words like a tsunami does that, as does the verb crashes. Like a tsunami. What else? What else did you notice about either of these? Nose goes. Okay, Ashley, you don't have a finger in your nose. Nose goes is the last word with their finger in the nose. Do you have something on here? Is there an insight? What was that? The hook at the beginning? And do you see thump, thump, thump? That's not a sentence. You're allowed to not write sentences, but it has to be for a reason. So the hook is effective. What about the last sentence? Compare the last sentence of essay number 1 to the last sentence of essay number 2. I hope to pursue my profound passion and interest in music and other academic subjects at Stanford. Oh my God, I want you to do that too. What about the end of the second one? Music has become the score for me to interpret and to become passionate about other intellectual pursuits. What do you guys think about the ending of each one? Huh? Music has become the score. What is that? That's a metaphor, isn't it? Where we're saying something is something that it's not. I would argue that the overwhelming criteria of the top essay is things are a little passive. Like I was sitting in a room and I heard some music and somebody told me this and now I'm going to go do some more school, which is fine. What is this person at the end? This person down here is passionate about anything, passionate about being involved and connected. This is an active essay on the bottom. So I think all of you would absolutely benefit from the lesson here of just taking something that could be good and just saying, what could I move? What could I put to the beginning? How can I shift in the middle? Are there word choices, sentence structures, sound devices, dialogue, any of that stuff, repetition that will make it better? So on your rubric, that's all the stuff in this far left-hand column over here about repetition, onomatopoeia, personification, dialogue. I want you guys to throw that stuff in there, okay? All right, last thing we'll do is this. Well, 2 things, but I'm not going to do the 5th. The 5th is strong examples. I believe I've given you guys like 12 different or 11 different examples of strong essays. We did temper the first day. We did Woofy Down the Well. We did the tally space. This link on the agenda is some more strong examples which you could absolutely look at. And what I think you look at, you're never going to do what they're writing about. You're not borrowing the what, but you might borrow the how. Look at this one. Dev, what's your religion? I felt my heart quickened. I tensed with apprehension while hurriedly reviewing possible answer choices in my head. Atheist? Agnostic? Lurking much farther down the list? Muslim? Although my family is Islami, a small sect. So what is this person choosing to do? A single sentence paragraph, a piece of dialogue, a personal name, a simple question that's mirrored with a simple reaction. So put somebody in a moment in your story. The second paper on here, is a series of ticking. Day 19, day 7, day 13. Maybe you could do yours as a series of vignettes, like still pictures on a roll of film. So I'm giving you this list here. Like, look at this one. Look at the choice there of doing this dialogue exchange in the middle of an essay. You don't even have to read them to know that these guys are taking chances. If you did this in an essay in my class, this is the poop one we've already read. Where is it? Here it is. If you did this in an essay in my class, we're going to read Handmaid's Tale, and after we finish Handmaid's Tale, I'm going to ask for an essay from you. And if your first 4 paragraphs were this short, I'd be like, those aren't real paragraphs. I need you to write 11-sentence paragraphs because you're in high school and that's how we write paragraphs. If 3 of your paragraphs started, I don't mind, I don't mind, I don't mind. I'm like, can you please vary your sentence structure? You're not just doing something. But maybe the repetition actually matters. This little parenthetical, super fun because you're ultimately talking almost to yourself or you're giving a little aside. So these are here for you to scroll through and reread and do what Picasso said. If there's anything to steal, I steal. You know, this guy here says like, this guy's using, this guy actually drops in a URL in the middle of his or her essay. Here, go to this website if you want more information from me. And it uses an ellipsis, of course, and you know, aha, the traces of a ghost Pokemon, you know? These are incredibly personal. All right, last thing is this. So that is for you guys. If you want more strong examples, I think one of the best ways to improve is to watch, you know, watch players or that are better at this sport than you are, or listen to musicians and watch them who are better at playing music than you are, or look at writers who've excelled at this field. Last thing is this. Let's just do this together. Ready? Here's your best friend. Your best friend comes up to you and says, I want help with my essay. And here it is. What are you going to tell your best friend? We're not going to read the whole essay. We're going to read one paragraph. Ready? Words on words. That's the title of your friend's essay. You're like, okay, wonder what that means. Here we go. Ever since I was 19 months old, I could share my thought to people through talking. Like this one time I was with my grandma and my mom at a nail salon a couple of months before I turned 2, and while my grandma was paying and my mom was grabbing the car, I began to talk to the man who was waiting for his wife right next to me. What are you going to tell your friend? There's a lot of words. There's words on words, right? Let's just keep going. Obviously, I don't remember the stranger I met inside the salon, but I have a good feeling that he remembers me. Thinking back, he can probably still remember, my mom's name, my dad's name, what my favorite color is, and how my grandma makes the best homemade lemonade because me being the newbie to English I was, told him all those things and more. My mom came into the salon and apologized, probably thinking that I was annoying or bothering the man, but he replied with telling my mom how funny and enjoyable of a conversation was. Every time my mom and grandma would both tell me this story, I couldn't help but smile because I know that is who I am and how I still communicate now. That memory made me realize the importance of communication and the places it can take you. This essay is important because this essay is who this person is. This essay is all about the importance of communication. There's a really clear why. What's the problem with this essay? What are you going to tell this person to do? What are you going to tell this person to do to fix his or her paper? What do you think? What would you latch onto in that first paragraph? What should you elevate in that entire first paragraph? This right here, thinking back?
Yeah.
So if this thing starts with a memory, you know, then start with that. You could start with, I remember a day outside a nail salon, period. I was 19 months old, period. A stranger came up to me, period. What are we going to think? Oh my gosh, you're going to get abducted or something. We're building tension. And then say something like, you know, then throw in the dialogue. Did you catch how long and rambly these sentences are? It's okay if the kid who's 19 months old has long and rambly sentences, if you put them in dialogue. But if you have long and rambly sentences, what does it show? It shows that you can't command English language. Let me do one more. Let's say this is your friend and your friend gives you this paper. What are you going to tell your friend? Obstacles can come in many forms such as physical, mental, or emotional. Overcoming a physical obstacle challenges both the mental and emotional mindset. The biggest obstacle I overcame in my life came last year. Hockey has always been my biggest motivating factor in my life. In the blink of an eye, it was taken away from me. My entire life was turned upside down. And I was close to an out-of-control tailspin spiral as possible and crashing my life. But as I write this today, I'm proud to say I've hit rock bottom, and from overcoming my personal obstacles, I am now currently climbing my way to the top of the mountain. While starting in my first varsity hockey game as a junior, I felt an unusual pain, blah, blah, blah. Do you think this story matters to this person? Absolutely. This is a great story, except for how it's told needs to be repaired. If you're writing about an injury, what would be a good thing to start with? The injury. I was close to an out-of-control tailspin. What does that mean? Have you been close to an out-of-control tailspin? What does it look like? Does it mean that upset and sitting in the dark and listening to I don't know, what's brooding music? What would people listen to in early depression? I'm not getting a lot of feedback here, guys. All right, I'm going to stop then since I'm talking to like a dead wall. At the end of the day, your story, I believe, right now, is probably a story that needs revision. And you need to spend some time looking at details and the devices that storytellers use, which you've been exposed to for the last 12 years in school. So if you want to, I think sometimes we learn what to do by looking at strong examples, but other times we can also learn what to do by looking at examples and considering what should I avoid that this person is doing. You know, this is an essay about overcoming obstacles, but the kid says right here that trust is the most important thing in my life. I'm like, well, what's your point? You know, so when you read this, think in your mind about like, you know, not just embracing what's strong in essays, but also avoiding what perhaps is not strong. All right, that's all I'm going to do. So you guys right now, all you're doing right now is I'm giving you the rest of the period, which is about a half an hour, to work in the classroom. You can consider the assignment. You can look at models. You can go through the workshop steps. You can apply the rubric. Bottom line is this time is for you to work in here. So I'm going to shut up and let you accomplish that. Okay? Yes. Oh, I'm going to take those blue and white sheets back from me.
What's this do?
This paper is due. It says right there on the bottom. It's going to be due the next time you're in person in class. You hand it to me, but the morning of that day it has to be on turnitin.com, okay? Of course. Okie dokie artichokes. Thank you. Thank you. It'd be, yeah, because we don't have this week where we have SAT in the middle of the week next week, so it'd be a Thursday. So on Thursday of next week, you'll be turning this in. On Wednesday, we'll be doing work in class on the artwork that you guys started online yesterday. Okay, don't forget if you're here or if you're at home to check out. You've got very little time left here. I actually get paid real American dollars to help you. If you want to meet, I'm meeting with students this afternoon. If you want to send me a quick email, we can just pop on the front page of Google Classroom and do a meet. Your paper is due the next time we see each other. You hand it to me. It's already up on turnitin.com by the time school starts. And for those of you at home, if you, for some reason, complete the 5-art videos by the end of class, let me know why, get them done, turn them in. And other than that, happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. That was a hard-earned week, I think. Well, I guess we had the little thing in the middle of the week. But anyway, next week's our second real week where we go to school, blue, silver, and then we have that remote day on Friday next week. I think we have 2 of those. And then we have a different week. Lots of different weeks this year. All right. What? It's a nice backpack. Holy cow.
Ian, he's talking about your backpack.
Your backpack, Ian.
Thank
Is it hard to get on or what?
Yeah, it's small.
Should let the straps go longer.
It's not Hello Kitty back.
There you go. So let me know if you guys need help as we as you get farther into perfecting this, and off you go. Next week we do art all week, art and poetry, which are good stuff. Is it 104 or is it 103? It is?
Well, right now it's 103.
Oh, are you sure? All right, I'm going to end this stream there. Bye, everybody at home. Bye, bye, bye. And